In yesterday's video, I talked about something really critically important that I feel like a lot of people probably missed, but that's what's going to lead into today's video. I was talking about failure yesterday and talking with clients if you're on a sales call. You need to build trust with that prospect on the call. It's a very obvious thing, standard thing that's said in sales all the time. But then I asked the question of, well, why do you need to build trust with that person? Doesn't that give you a better understanding to the idea of, on this call, I need to build trust with this person, okay? But if you were actually able to sit down there and evaluate the idea of why do I need to build trust with this person, well, doesn't that let you better evaluate why the needs of that person and how you can address those on that sales call? You see, I think there's a huge problem, and I don't know where it happens, or I don't know how it happens, but we as adults and people in entrepreneurship and marketing and anywhere need to ask the question of why more. See, to me, there's two different categories of learning. And at some point along the way of our life, we think that it's only the first way. And the first way, to me, is educational learning. And that is where you're reading books. And now everybody today is listening to podcasts and everyone's watching YouTube videos. And there's nothing wrong with that by any means. I encourage that all the time. There's a lot that we can learn from people that have already been in situations. But then there's the other side of learning, and that's what I call critical learning. And that goes in line with the idea of critical thinking. You see, if you have kids out there, I have two kids, and if you don't have kids, you probably know this and understand this, is that kids, they ask why a lot. All throughout the day, they ask why about everything. And some people come and for some reason think that's just really annoying. But what we truly have to understand is that kids in their first 12 or so years of life are going through such a rapid growth period where they are learning so much because they have no predetermined or external knowledge of what's going on. And they might ask why once, and they might ask why again and again and again and again. But what we have to see and what we have to understand, and what I love about kids, is that they have a higher degree of critical thinking and learning than almost any adult in any industry, because they ask why so much. They get down to, they might not only ask why one time, but they'll ask it multiple times. I mean, my daughter asks me why all the time about everything. Dad, why are your socks black? Dad, why are you wearing that shirt? Dad, why do you do, your hair that way? So many questions. But then she might even ask me why again after that. It's not because she's trying to be annoying, and it's not because she is trying to be ignorant. But to some psychological, deeper meaning, she is trying to get to a deeper, more structured understanding of the way things actually work. But how often do you hear somebody say, I mean, just the idea of something like a sales call, or say you're coming up with something like a minimum viable offer for somebody, right? You say, okay, here's the offer. Maybe we make accounting services, or we improve accounting services for accountants. We're consultants for accountants. We add clients to, we'll add this many clients to an accounting business, or we set up systems for our accountants. But then when you're developing that offer, okay, that sounds pretty good. It's our offer. That's what we do as a business. But then when you're actually developing the copy for that, you're developing the ads, the creatives for that, you're actually developing the way that you talk about people on sales calls for that service. Are you sitting there actually saying, well, we do this for accountants? Or would it be better to say that? Or would it be better to say, we do this accountants, and here's why we do this? Doesn't that get to a more deeper meaning of why accountants need that many clients? I mean, literally with anything. Why is this good? Why is this bad? Because there is the opposite of that, right? There's the adverse reaction of that, which is why not? If you're trying to sell something, when you're trying to do something, you're trying to grow something, maybe you're thinking about your customer, you're building your customer avatar. And not only do you have to ask, why should they buy this? Don't get some preconceived notion that because you think it's a good product that everyone else is going to think it is. But if you're also trying to sell it, why do they need this? But at the same time, look at the opposite of why not? Why would they not buy this? What are the objections or the questions that they have in their head that would lead them away from probably buying this? And who is the person that would not be the person to buy this? I don't know where it happens along the way. I don't know if it's the current system that we have. I mean, I thought the exact same thing for the first 2 years. That the first 2 years, it's some over ecstatic idea of confidence that we think we have because we think that we're just that good. We're probably not that good. It's better to come to a situation with a better and deeper understanding, because at the same time, if you're asking those questions, can you assume that everyone else is asking those questions? And if you have a better and deeper understanding of those questions, then doesn't that mean that you know more than possibly your competition? I never get angry when somebody comes to me and asks me the question, why? If you're a business owner and you have employees, you should never get angry at those employees. In fact, you should encourage it. Doesn't mean everyone's going around asking why all the time and 30 times over. But it's about even just sitting there, and if you're working on a project, asking yourself the question of why gets you to a deeper meaning and a deeper level of understanding that is not based upon preconceived notions and past history. Because things always don't turn out the same way. They don't always work like you think they're going to. The product that you put out there might not work the way that you think it's going to. But it's about having that sufficient data of why and having the critical ability to think through those situations rather than sitting there just wondering like, oh, well, man, maybe this product just sucks. No, maybe you weren't asking the right questions. Maybe you weren't putting it in front of the right person and asking them the right questions. Or maybe you weren't able to address their objections in a way that they wanted to be addressed. Instead, you tried to push it in their face and say, this is just a good product. This is just a good product. You should buy it. Without actually telling them why. So in business right now, in entrepreneurship right now, if you're starting out or if you're at $50,000 a month right now, you need to ask why more. Before you invest in something, before you start something, or as you're building things. If you think this is a good offer to put out to somebody, why is it a good offer? Or why does this person actually need this, or why do they not need it? This is a level of critical thinking that cannot really be taught. It's something that you have to experience, and you literally have to turn your mind around from the political jargon and educational mumbo jumbo that's thrown to us and put down our throats from the times that we turn 6 years old to when we graduate either high school at 18 or college at 21, 22. Flip that idea around. Doesn't mean we stop educationally learning, but it means that we have to have the ability and the critical ability and knowledge and know-how to step back from the situation, look at it from a 30,000-foot view, ask the questions of why and why not in the areas that they need to be asked. Get deeper. Like something like a branding guidebook should not be 2 pages long or just 30 pages long. We do that for every single client. So ask why more. You'll probably find out more things than you thought, and you might find out more than you need to know, but you're going to find out enough to take you to some next step and some next level. This is a level of critical thinking that needs to be brought not only to the people that are, doing the services, but the people that are also being served. People want to know why something is being done. It might lower your churn rate. It might make clients happier. It doesn't mean that you become an educator, but it means that you ask, what if I was in this situation, what would I want to know? Why would I want to know that? And those are the questions that you serve. So ask why more, learn more, and be a better critical thinker. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Again, just testing out an off-the-script thing. I don't know how it's going to go, but I hope it's going good. Comment down below if you like these types of talks. I still am going to keep reporting on the daily news that is happening and whatnot. It's happening in the industry, but honestly, half the time there's just not a lot going on right now because there's just so much news that it's just not worth putting out to everybody. I think we all know what the 2 news items break down to. And so there's just not too much that's coming out right now. But at the same time, being a coach and being somebody who builds digital infrastructure and who sets up things like, brand guidebooks and helps with advertising and marketing and everything that has to do with digital for companies and clients, it's not always just about software, but it's about these principles and understandings of how to work with people and how to dig deeper into what you're actually doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe and like the video if you haven't yet. Thank you guys so much. Until next time.